Welcome to Bass Lessons with Josh. Today we're going to be talking about slap bass. Okay, so slap bass, it is the most impressive technique probably, or one of the most impressive techniques on the bass. Every beginner bass player, and I'm sure guitar players, also want to learn it. The most important thing when it comes to playing slap bass, or I think just playing any kind of bass in general, is to make sure you're in a comfortable position. That means that your bass is comfortably on your lap, and that your non-dominant hand can move up and down the fretboard freely. Also, on your dominant hand, your wrist should be able to rotate freely as well. We want to encourage more wrist motion rather than arm motion when it comes to slapping the bass. Okay, so for slap bass, I'm going to be teaching you two techniques and two exercises that will get you started. So the first technique is the bounce slap technique. You literally do bounce on your bass. Basically, you're using the hardest part of your thumb right here. Make sure your thumb is standing to attention. Make sure your four other fingers are closed. If they are far apart, they're going to be distracted. So when your thumb is standing to attention, you can actually control it a lot better. So when you're slapping the bass, it's actually a whipping motion. It's not just a holding motion like that. When you're slapping someone across the face, you also want your hand to be at attention like that. You don't want to do that, because if your hand is flimsy, it's not at attention, then it's not very effective when it comes to slapping someone across the face. But anyways, okay, so here's how it should sound, like that. So notice how I was using a whipping motion right there, because it's more effective in allowing the sound to resonate. So the first exercise kind of sounds like this. Okay, how did I do that? So we start off with a slap on the low E string here, followed by a mute. Make sure that this mute is not a silent mute, so it's kind of like a slapped mute with your non-dominant hand here on the fretboard. Again, if you don't have the slap right yet, make sure you get that right before you continue with this exercise. So again, slap, mute, and followed by a muted slap right there. We're going to do that twice, basically. Again. Okay. And after we do that twice, we're going to play in a fill right there. So first, you're going to slap the D right here, the 5th fret of the A string, and you're going to hammer on to the E, which is the 7th fret of the A string. So far we have make sure you practice this with a metronome and speed it up as you go. So if you put that all together, you're going to get something that sounds like. Okay, let's move on to the next technique. The next technique is a slap and rest technique. I actually prefer this technique because it allows me to pull right after I slap. It's easier to pull right after I slap. When you're using a bounce technique, your arm tends to, your hand tends to move away from the bass, while when you're slapping and resting, you basically use your thumb right here to slap, and you rest your thumb on the next string. So, like that. Get this technique down before you start pulling. So, of course, I like to slap somewhere near the end of the neck here, end of the fretboard, and that allows me to pull. Slap, pull. Again, slap, pull. I'm just playing an octave right here. So the 2nd fret of the D string, that's the E octave. So low E, high E. The next exercise I would like to teach you involves slapping and pulling. So if you haven't gotten the slap and rest technique yet and the pulling technique yet, make sure you get that down. So I like to pull with my middle finger here, but you can feel free to pull with your index finger. So before we move on to this next exercise, I hope that you're able to slap and pull comfortably, because this next exercise does involve slapping and pulling octaves. Here's how it's supposed to sound. Okay, so that's how it's supposed to sound. What we start off with is a slap on the E string, pull on its octave, which is the second fret of the D string. So again, slap, pull, slap, pull, low E, high E, low E, high E. Okay, low E, high E. And right after that, we go slap the G. So low G, high G. Okay, G is on the third fret of the E string. Its octave is on the fifth fret of the D string. So far what we have is low E, high E, low G, high G. Okay, low E, high E, low G, high G. Okay, again, low E, high E, low G, high G. Okay, and from there we slap the A, fifth fret of the E string. So far what we have is low E, high E, low G, high G, A, low A. Okay, so again, low E, high E, low G, high G, low A. And let's slap the octave there of the A. So low E, high E, low G, high G, low A, high A. And what we have after that is a fill. So slap the A again, hammer onto the B, which is a whole step above, 7th fret of the E string. Again, so slap, hammer, slap the A, hammer onto the B. So follow that with a D, slap the D, hammer onto the E. So it's kind of like a little box here. So you go A, B, D, E. Okay, A, B, D, E. Make sure you get that filled down. Okay, so the whole exercise so far, what we have here is and we repeat that. Okay, that's how it's supposed to sound. Make sure that you are practicing with a metronome, and if you are having trouble with certain parts in the exercises or with whatever I'm teaching, feel free to rewind. If you learned something new, please push the like button. For more videos, please push the subscribe button. I also have my social media down in the description. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook. I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.